Let's go.
Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today it's the Man-Child. Okay, so today for review, we're going to take a look at the new Masters Universe Origins Sketchbook Series Hordak and Grizzlor figures, or 2-pack. So check this out. We're getting a Sketchbook series of figures now as part of the Origins line, from what I heard. These are the first two, and there's going to be other figures to come. But, you know, what's interesting is all the figures that we grew up with in the vintage line, and of course, later on evolved to the classics and Origins and Masterverse. You know, they started somewhere with a basic idea, concept, or sketch, and it's, not what we ended up with. And here's a good example of that. Both Hordak and Grizzlor are really different. Wow. I mean, you have the armor with the Horde bat symbol. Even that looks a little bit different. And then jumping over to Grizzlor. All right, so yeah, that looks like the iconic bat kind of symbol or armor that the regular Grizzlor will wear. But yet different. But look at his design. I mean, he still has the Grizzlor arms, sort of, but different hands, legs, that kind of thing. But, man, the head, a little bit of everything. It's just, really bizarre looking. Okay, and taking a little closer look at the art in front of this box. So, yeah, obviously, right, we have the window wide open with Hordak and Grizzlor. Now, on the right-hand side, you have a pair of Terror Claws in there that's meant for this Grizzlor, right? And dropping down, you have, obviously their names. And I like that yellowish sticker that stands out, or the little tag card inspired by original concept art. Now, taking a look at the very top, we have the Evil Horde sticker. And then you can see all the, just the original art of, once again, or the penciling of Hordak. The background going on there. Now, he has the blaster, as we know, he has the original blaster arm that the power conversion of Hordak come with in the Origins. Got the big MOTU sticker. You know, it feels like a big sticker, the way it stands out. And then over here is Grizzlor, his original sketch. It's interesting, the Terror Claws are like one's facing one way, one's facing the other way. You got the 40th anniversary sticker with She-Ra on the top, and then what else you got? Okay, these are other just ideas with Grizzlor, or Hordak and Grizzlor together, I guess, getting ready to fight. And going over to the side on the right-hand side from the window. Now, there's a finalized version, or at least a colored-in version of Grizzlor, right? The main sketch, how he evolved from that black and white, it's the pencil sketch, pretty cool. And then flipping the box around, of course, Hordak's on the other side. There is, once again, with that blaster arm, colored in, the smoke, all the just action going on behind him. And here's a look at the art on the back of the box. Look at that piece of art. That's like a poster art. Just a finalized, finished painting, the illustration, everything going on there. So, yeah, obviously we have Grizzlor there, slashing at, which looks to be Vicron He-Man, I want to say. As you can see that helmet, the overall design, if you go back to the Vicron concept. Of course, we have Hordak again. You can see, I guess, one of the early versions of the Fright Zone. Look at the Fright Zone monster. Very different. Even the design is different. You have the tree up top, and you can see with a hand coming down. Which, what you can see anyway. And then it has the GL as well. A bone GL. Looks like that's, I guess, Skeletor in the background have captured. One of the early concepts of what Skeletor would have looked like. And then you have some additional sketch art around the box, just different positions of the characters, looking forward, sideways, getting ready to battle, and stuff like that. And then dropping down to the very bottom, I just give a quick bio on what this sketch series is all about. Okay, so I have the Sketchbook Grizzlor and Hordak out of package, and here's a quick look around, what to expect between the two, the overall aesthetics and designs. First up, let's take a look at the Sketchbook Hordak. Yeah, I mean, as far as the head and helmet, in the face, has a very humanoid look compared to the Hordak we all know now. Have more of a creature, demonic looking face or skull. But definitely looks like something out of Eternia, another galaxy with the skin, face, and the eyes. But yeah, I like the red eyes. That really stands out with the yellowish skin. He has a grin with the teeth showing. I don't see no fangs or nothing. It's just the teeth. So check out, he has a helmet with the Horde bat symbol that's sculpted outward, painted red on top of the helmet, and wings, both sides. Let's see. Now the helmet's all part, it doesn't come off. I mean, it's obviously all part of the face sculpt, painted around everything. As far as the articulation, you can look all the way to the left, the right, look forward, and look all the way up like that. He has two gray horns and little like earpieces that are also part of sculpt, protrude out in the sides of the helmet. And yeah, this one, look at this gray horn, has red paint from the overspray or overpainted its bat symbol. I've tried to get gray and touch that up. All right, one of those things, I guess. And there's a look at the back. Has some extra. Oh, it has like a bat. Yeah, the bat design sculpted down to the helmet. Pretty cool. And the skin is interesting too with the colors. It's like, here you go again. It's another. Can be another body for people who want to customize. But I wish he would have come with another arm. They give him a like a Trapjaw style arm, all black, and then the blaster, you know, is part of that right arm setup. There's no way to change it out. And again, going, you know, to be fair, that was probably what the concept was at the time. But with the Origins, they should have added another right yellow arm with a regular hand. I would have liked to see that, because it's going to be difficult to match this color from other figures in your set for customization to change that arm. I already looked. I don't see anything even close. But anyway, all right. So dropping down, let me see here. You can see the neck dropping down. So look at that armor. So now you got the iconic Horde bat symbol. Looks very close to what they use on certain, as far as designs of certain figures in the armors. A little different. Yeah, these rubber spikes that go up around the shoulders on both the left and right side. That's cool. Like, look like big razors. Even around the neck too, I just noticed the collar. See that? You got a row of those spikes coming up, razors. Just look at the back of the armor. Oh, you got a big bat symbol, Horde bat symbol. It's sculpted part of the armor outwards. Pretty cool. Okay. And you can see where it cuts to allow, you know, the open part of the back. Not that they have ab crunch. Mine's what the classics does sometimes with figures. And obviously a big cut in the front. You can see his abs. So as far as the articulation, all right, you can spin at the waist. That's a no-brainer. Let me see here. All right, so going back over to the arm. So yeah, with the right arm again, you got a black, what looks like a Trapjaw arm. So again, when they were developing some of these figures, I don't know if Trapjaw was already out or this arm came first and that went to Trapjaw. I'm assuming Trapjaw was already out because the Horde came later. Actually, it might have been true with Grizzlor and those Terror Claws now I think about it. Yeah, the Horde came later, so they just used concepts from other figures, right? In this case, the Trapjaw arm. That's what it looks like to me. Or one of the mechanical sets for Trapjaw arm. Anyway, as far as the articulation with that arm, you can go up, down, forward, back. Right, you straighten the elbow out, bend the elbow with the blaster all the way to the face, front of the body. Some decent positions for the articulation. And then, of course, yeah, the arm pops right out, has a black peg. You can see the inside of the socket. Again, for customs, or you want to change it out with something else, whatever that might be. And yeah, then the blaster arm. It's the same one that, yeah, the Powercon Hordak that's in blue, if anybody ever seen them, comes with, or they've reused already. And yeah, that can spin around. I guessing it's on a big socket. I don't know, but it's not something just going to pop off. It doesn't have little origin pegs that I'm familiar with. And then, of course, yeah, the arm's in black. I guess it's like a black skin suit protecting that arm, or it's just all cybernetic. All right, that being said, and then, of course, let's jump back over to the left arm. Regular He-Man style, you know, Origins arm, but yeah, with that really pale yellow color. Okay, you can go all the way up, down, as far as articulation. Forward, back, well, same stuff. Straighten the arm out, bend the arm. Has a He-Man style wrist bracer now, but painted gray. And then on that side, he has a weapon gripping hand with a half glove, or what's painted to be a half glove, and the finger sticking out. And that can spin, and the hinge joint go in or out. It's pretty interesting. All right, so let's keep going here. Dropping down. He has a newer style, like a belt that wraps around the body, and that's a separate piece. Actually, I think a figure. I've seen this used before in the Origins. I don't know if it was a Turtles of Grayskull line or something. Anyway, yeah, the spikes are really sharp. It's just a flat gray color to match the blaster and this mechanical piece on the arm. All right, let's pop the body apart. So, yeah, obviously you can split at the waist, and all right, that's how the belt comes off. So let's put them back together for a second. Now, here's a closer look at that belt off the body. Right, it's just a big gray flat rubbery piece. Gonna leave it off for now. Bring it back in, and then dropping down. Just, yeah, the regular Origins style, long cloth and belt, just all black, front and back. Let's move the arms out of the way, and, okay, as far as the legs, just, yeah, you know, what to expect. He-Man style legs, and then as far as the articulation, go out with a split. Kick forward, go back, bend at the knee, spin at the knee. Let's test the other knee out. Looks good, feels good, all the same, front, back. All right, and then dropping down, so, hey, look at these boots. So you have, yeah, it's like a whole different boot. Where is it? Okay, so it pops right in here. It didn't come off. And then it has these extra pieces that wrap around is it all part of the boot? Yeah, it looks like they're glued on to this main boot. This big cuff that looks like fur with metal reinforcement bracing going all around. There's a front and back, and that's what this is. It's a brace that holds on this like knee protector that protrudes out from the knee. What I can see, and the other side is all the same. All right, so obviously you can spin, well, sort of spin at that, because then it spins the knee. How about this side? Yeah, it should be able to spin, but it's just, they're really tight with these pieces. Anyway, everything spins. But right now my figure's spinning at the knees. All right, we already talked about this. And then dropping down, he has a regular style foot. Like, almost looks like a regular foot a He-Man boot would have. And that can go up and down, rock side to side, and it's all black. Right? The other side is all the same. So jumping back up to the armor, let's remove it off the body. So I'm going to spin him around because you can see where the tabs are on the back. And it looks like, to remove it, let me see here. All right, so you pop that one on that side, and you break, can't even get my fingers in there, this one on that side. And all right, so we got to remove the head. Let's see how that works out. All right, so the head comes right off, and then the armor pulls her off the body. And here's a quick look at that armor off the body, so you can get a better look at the shoulder spikes, blades, the ones around the neck, the other side, the bat symbol we already talked about, the bat in the front, and just, yeah, how soft, and just big rubber piece of armor, how it clips on. All right, once again, I put the head back on Hordak, and here's a quick look without the armor, this, that great belt piece on. It's the overall colors of the body, all good stuff. Yeah, and again, it's just, there's no point in this arm, because once you remove the armor, it's almost like this mechanical arm is supposed to be part of this armor, I guess. Yeah, it makes sense to have another yellow arm. You didn't want to use this. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is a total breakdown of this Hordak. Let me slide the head off the body. We know what that looks like. I'm just going to leave it on. But more importantly, it's the boots off these legs. So here's a closer look at one of the boots. Yeah, really interesting. Again, you can see how this piece with the little brace goes up the back, this ankle piece of the calf. Yeah, it's definitely a separate piece and glued, but you got to use caution when taking these off. They're not easy to get off. You can't get your fingers in here to pull them off, and I had to heat them up because I felt like I was putting too much pressure on the joint and ready to snap it on both legs. I did not like messing around with these, to be honest. And then this piece too, trying to slide it down that calf. And then once I try to remove it, so say it would obviously, the plug would pop out like this. You had to pull this piece down, but I couldn't. I had to get this tool in here. It's like a putty tool to pop this off from the joint, because as I tried pulling it, yeah, I thought I was going to break one of these. I could not get them off. Maybe I had to put more heat or something. But anyway, and then there's a look at the other boot. It's all the same as far as the style. So one's a left and a right. So once again, I put the Sketchbook Hordak all back together. I got to say, these boots are really tricky. I was messing around with them for over 5 minutes, trying to push these on, get these bands up over the calves. I felt like I wanted to break something. My one knee become very loose. Look at that. I'm going to have to fix that with clear gel. Yeah, I kind of want to change parts between these two, especially the boots, and really apprehensive to take these off again. And I felt like I was going to split this band. That's what it is. The whole problem is in this band. And the boots, just, they're hard to get off. And I put a lot of heat on them, but, all right, clear warning to that. People want to customize and mess around with them. Maybe just me or my figure. Aside that, so here's a quick look at, yeah, the original Origins vintage-inspired Hordak that we got as kids, and now in the Origins, and of course, yeah, the Sketchbook one again. So yeah, very different. I mean, aside the typical muscle aesthetics and legs ever used and stuff like that, but the colors, the armor. All right, so moving forward with some mixing and matching of parts between these two Hordak figures. So you can see, obviously, I mixed the heads around. Now, we're very limited because of the skin colors, but this Hordak head works perfect on this body because you're just dealing with a black hood, which matches, yeah, the black armor and the arm and stuff like that, the boots. And it has the yellowish, white-yellowish skull, which, interestingly, it's perfect to the colors on this body. I just noticed under my lights. Wow, it's almost exact. That's awesome. So you could put that Hordak head on this body if you like it with the setup, and it still has decent articulation. You can look left to right, look down. You can only go back so far because of the, blades in the collar. Pretty neat. And of course, I just drew the crossbow in hand. All right, so quick look at that setup, and then jumping back over to the Hordak that the head come off of. Now this too, you can kind of get away with it with this head and a black helmet because who's to say this gray isn't a bodysuit? I don't know with this Hordak if it was actually his skin or was meant to be a gray bodysuit. And just he has gloves and boots and the armor, and you can't really tell. So it can work that way. But if it's skin, then yeah, the face isn't going to match. So let's look at that in a cape. But yeah, it's fun to mix those two parts around with each other. So once again, just focusing on the sketchbook body, I put the regular Origins armor with the cape on. Right, and obviously removed the armor to come off this body and just left the regular Origins Hordak head on, put the minion in that hand. Quick look at that setup, another option for this figure. And then once again, I just put the sketchbook head back on the sketchbook body with the vintage-inspired Hordak armor and cape on. Of course, the minion in the left side, the arm. Quick look at that setup. Okay, and then once again with the same setup, I just took those boots back off, which that was not fun. And I put the original or regular, Origins Horde boots on this body with the cape and the, armor. Just quick look at that setup. Yeah, they look much better. I like them, over the other boots. Okay, and then lastly, I just put his armor back on. So he's pretty much set up the way he came. Aside a crossbow, I put one of them in the hand, obviously. And I just left the original Horde, the other style Horde boots on with the overall setup. Again, if you didn't like those other boots and you like regular Horde boots with the head and the armor and all good stuff, that's what it would look like. And we can always put this head back on. We know what that looks like with the armor, with the skin, with the boots, and so forth and so on. So once again, jumping back over to the original Origins Hordak body, the gray body. Obviously, I put that armor on from the Sketchbook Hordak and just threw the original head on. And I put the boots on from the other Sketchbook Hordak, which again, were pain in the neck, put on and off. I know I said it a couple times, but they are. So just a quick look at that setup. You want to use the armor and the cape, which we're all familiar with. And then, as far as the articulation, see that pops off the head. How about that? This is falling. Let me see. All right, so you can look left to right and go down and up. Very similar to the other body. So once again, with the same setup, I just put that Sketchbook blaster arm on this original Hordak body with the armor and the boots on. You can get away with it with this figure because, yeah, it's a black arm, which could, tie into the black part of the armor and this mask that he wears. The grays sort of blend in with the skin. Well, it doesn't matter mechanical, but you can get away with it a lot better on this Hordak. Give him a blaster arm, even though the one side's painted black to match everything else. It's pretty cool. Okay, and then I just added that other belt piece to the waist. We split it in half and then put his original boots back on with the armor. Right, we have the head and the blaster arm. So moving on, taking a look at the Sketch Art Grizzlor figure. So yeah, again, another bizarre design. At least the head. The rest of the body, yeah, definitely looks like the first release Grizzlor. Aside, I think the hands are a little different. Of course, he doesn't have all the big furry pelt, the fur piece around his body. But underneath that's like a furry beast body, very similar to Beastman. It's the front and the back. The legs look the same. The loincloth, the belt, stuff like that. So the colors. But the most interesting part, again, is the head. So, all right, taking a closer look at the head sculpt. Man, that's a wild, wacky looking idea for the Grizzlor at the time. Something between a mammoth, prehistoric mammoth, and a bat or a wolf. Some kind of mix between the two or three. Yeah, look at those tusks that come off. Very long. They're soft. Or soft rubber type material. He has a snout. A short snout. Again, like a mammoth or something. He had a black recessed eyes with pupils inside the main eyes, which that's kind of creepy and cool looking. I like that. Big ears sticking off from each side, which are just very hard rubber. But all that being said, he also has like a trapjaw style mouth. If you see that, it hinges or hooks all the way back close to the ear on both sides, and then underneath the snout or bottom would be the bottom of his mouth. Now, that does not articulate. I thought it did. That would have been cool if it hinged open. I think that's what that's supposed to be. It's all part of sculpt painted silver from what I can see. Once I pull the head off, we'll take a better look at it. But yeah, it's like, okay, some type of trapjaw design for this figure. So as far as the articulation with this head, you can look to the left, but these tusks hits this furry part of the armor. Very limited. Okay, look to the right. That's it. It's kind of always looking down, but okay, look down, and if he looks forward or back, that's as far as you're going with it. He's very limited just because of the fur on the back of the head. So here's a look at the sculpting. So you can see the fur come over the back. Yeah, good details. So he has a typical style. Well, not typical, but that bat looks very reminiscent to the, the Grizzlor, the normal Grizzlor release, which of course I'll bring in and we'll compare and try to mix some parts around. I'll move the head out of the way here. But instead of having the yellow straps that go around, you have these black straps that Okay, they go around the back, and this you can see how they clip to the lower part of the back itself. And in this furry pelt piece, I want to call it. At first, I thought that was part of sculpt. That's actually the armor. So that lifts over, and it's all part of this the harness, that bat armor harness. All right, now take a closer look at it. Of course, it has different colors as far as the fur from the body. So, all right, moving articulation. Okay, of course, you can spin at the waist. Now, going back to the arms here, they're just Grizzlor style arms. I already mentioned. I think the hands might be a little different. Just the nails are longer and are painted on both the left and right side. So, as far as the articulation on these arms, you can go all the way down, up, forward, let's see, back. Okay, bend at the elbow, straighten the elbow out, go all the way to the face and body, down to the body and across, because they're so long. So I always liked the Grizzlor arms, Beastman too. And then, yeah, back to the hands, right? You can spin, go in a hinge joint, goes in and out. I already mentioned the nails are painted to match these tusks, same color. All right, and then the other arm is all the same. The articulation, all right, let's test it out. That spin at the elbow, hand, right? The hinge joint goes in and out, spin all around. And then he gets a Horde. He has a armband on from the Horde, which it's interesting. Hordak didn't come with one, but I already seen that before. Actually, I have a spare one from another figure. I'm going to put it on Hordak later. I don't know why Hordak didn't come with one. That would have made sense. Okay, I guess it wasn't part of the concept. But yeah, he has a Horde band. It can come off the arm. Slides right off. He didn't want it on. I like them. I think they're pretty cool. I'm just going to leave it on. All right, so that being said, it's just, again, there's the back, furry beast body. And then moving down, so, just a regular Origins He-Man style belt and loincloth, but painted black. Of course, this is painted brown to match the hair on the body. And then we're going down to the legs. He has like these protectors that go over the thighs. And how do they, they just pop right off, I guess. That's it. They're just little clips and they just snap on. Right, so if you take one of them off and they're both identical, that's what they look like. And they just have little clips. And then you got the one on the other side. So you can pull that one off. And there you go. There's a look at the legs. If you didn't want to use them, I'll leave them off for a second. And as far as the articulation with the legs, let's see, go all the way out with a split. Let's see, kick forward, go back. Bent. I don't like to feel that. All right, that knee is not feeling so well, but it can bend. How about this one? All right, bend back, bend at the knee. How about this? Spin. Okay, so you can spin at the knee. And then dropping down, you have Horde-style boots, at least the upper part of the boot. Looks just like the original Horde ones with the bat black. But then the feet are like some type of steel mechanical foot. Painted going back to this trapjaw piece up, under the head, on the mouth. That's weird looking. And all right, so as far as articulation with that, all right, so you can spin at the boot, right, the leg and the boot, and then that can go up and down, and yeah, they can rock side to side, and the other one's all the same. And then as far as Grizzlor's weapons and accessories, so he just gets a pair of the Terra Claws Skeletor claws again. Same exact ones that Skeletor has in the Origins from what I already looked at. And these have good detail, by the way, just like the Skeletor. But they're a different color. They're like metal. I want to say gunmetal color. That's what they remind me of. So once again, taking a look at Grizzlor, just put those leg guards back on. And just put the claws on the hand. So obviously there's a right one for the right side because of the thumb. And it's just going to snap in like, let's see. Okay, snaps in like this. And then it's going to snap this one on the left side. And yeah, it looks like the hand's going to go all the way up to the front to hold them. Here's a quick look at Grizzlor with his Terra Claws on. Terra Claws Grizzlor. What's funny is these don't hold very well. You got to get them just right. They keep popping off the arms. Just something with the design of this forearm and these claws. They work, better on the regular Skeletor aesthetics. Maybe it depends on the figure. You got to mess around with it. All right, that one's kind of holding. This one too. All right, there it goes. Yeah, I guess it's just, you got to play around with it. Okay, so obviously I removed the Terra Claws off Grizzlor. I also took these thigh protectors off the legs. I just want to take the armor and break the figure down a little bit. So let me remove the head off the body first. Okay, there we go. So let's take a closer look at that head. I have it removed. So obviously, right, there's a tusk. We talk about the eyes, the ears. And here's a better look at that metal trapjaw piece. So yeah, it's all part of sculpt. And it looked like, it's the idea is that it's supposed to open. That's his mouth, but it does not on this, as far as the head. And then taking a look at the body again. So, all All right, move those pieces. Of course, he can break in half, which we have to, I think, to remove... No, we don't. We can unplug the armor, but he breaks in half. Right, we know the arms come out, kind of stuff. You can pull hands out. I'm just going to leave them in. And then as far as the armor, so you can either pop this buckle, but it's going to pull off the body like so, and then just pull it right over the chest. And then here's a quick look at the armor off the body. You can see how the pelt piece blends in with the bat. You know, how flexible it is, and you can pop it apart this way too. I just pulled it around the waist. And then, once again, jumping back to Grizzlor, all put back together. And of course, we have all the armor pieces off. Just a quick look at the overall buck. Now how the head articulates. It's even better now without that, armor piece on. I can wobble and go all over the place. So, a little bit better as far as articulation, the arms, all good stuff. Twisted the waist. Yeah, I took the Horde band off too. That's about it. You can see overall design, furry body, and whatnot. So, once again, moving forward with some comparisons and mixing and matching the parts between the two different Grizzlors. So, of course, there's our sketch art Grizzlor. Of course, I put all the armor pieces back on. Against the Origins vintage-inspired Grizzlor. Now, this is the Powercon version. He has a darker tones. And when you go back to the vintage figures, this was a very rare variant of Grizzlor to get. Now, I do have... Let me get him out of the way for a second. I do have the Mattel Creations one in card, but it doesn't matter anyway because he's like... has a lot of red in the fur. You know, as far as the face and the arms. So he's not going to work. So I think this will be somewhat of a good figure. At least with the head and stuff like that. I'm going to try to put it on his body and vice versa. I think you can mix the colors around. But you can see how different they are even then. And yeah, same exact arms, right? Side, the hands are, completely different hands. Yeah, the legs. We can obviously see the different boots, stuff like that. It's the same body side. He has fur all over. I'm assuming the back is the same. Right, same Horde band. Okay, so focusing on the sketch art Grizzlor body, obviously I put the other Grizzlor head on that body and a crossbow in hand. So yeah, we got the head, right, with the from the other figure with the fur. It's kind of interesting. It could work because you have a mixture of colors between the light tones on the body, and at least this dark fur, pelt piece that's part of the armor. Yeah, it would have been cool if this head was just a little, the shades were a little bit lighter. It would have worked perfectly. And then the hair, too. But it is MOTU, and he can make it work. As far as articulation with that head, you can go all the way left to right, go down and up. So, it's a fun variation. If you had those two Grizzlors and wanted to mix the parts, it's funny looking with the hair like that. Push it down over the neck, or down or up, or however you want it. So once again, I put that sketch artist Grizzlor head back on the body, and I want to try the armor that come off the other Grizzlor. But look how large it is, because it's designed to go over the fur. I just want to see what it looks like on his body with this head. Okay, for my next trick, yeah, Grizzlor blew up. His body parts all over the place. So what I'm trying to do is put fur on, the sketchbook Grizzlor. Now, I'm going to take all the parts apart from the figures. Now, this is the buck from the regular release, right, or that Grizzlor I showed. You can see the buck inside. Everything's kind of sewn together. I've never tried to take one of these off, to be honest. It looks like there is a way you can pull it apart, but as you start doing that, you got to be careful because you start tearing things. And I'm not looking to rip the things on my figure, but I'm trying to show some quick custom solutions for people who might want to mix parts without getting into crazy custom ideas. But it looks like the more you pull this and heat it up, you can get it off. But I don't think we have to. So this piece is going to replace this buck because you're never going to see it. I mean, the neck, maybe some of the little colors in here, but that can work. So we'll use this buck, right? And I don't even know where the front back is. Okay, there's the back. Here's the front. I guess that's important. And we'll put the arms in, the lighter arms from the sketchbook Grizzlor, in the plugs like this, left and right side, right? And we'll build them like that. Put the legs on. All right, so now we got fur. See what I'm doing? At least on the body part. And now, just a quick look at that setup. So yeah, obviously I have the, the buck with the fur, as I showed. So we just replaced this. All right, we know the arms are back on. The original head, I put the crossbow and once, just one hand. Put one of the terror claws on the other. You can use one. You don't have to use both. If you want to use both, you can put them on. Yeah, and that's about it. So, and then of course to put the armor over the fur that came off the other Grizzlor, because now it fits. And as far as the articulation with the fur, not bad left to right. It's actually better than his armor. But yeah, it's the same, very close. You know, you can look, he's already looking forward and down. You can go back a little bit. Expect it with this head. You know, and that's all we're really doing. It's just like we're trying to replace, give him more to Grizzlor's parts, but we're trying to stick with the lighter brown tones because of the head. You know, so we can go back to this head, of course, and now we're turning him more to Grizzlor, but with odd, yeah, parts with the arms. Now, with the lower legs, okay, we can plug that in, and then we're turning it, again, this doesn't match the head. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, this lower fur piece, too, it's not coming off easy. There is a way to take it off. I think you got to remove the legs. These aren't just something that pop, you know, they don't just pop out. You got to heat them up. It's getting into a custom job. And the more I mess with this, the fur's falling apart. You can see in the background. I don't want to get involved in that. But it is possible if you wanted to remove this and put it on a Grizzlor, again, just because of the lighter brown tones to match the head. That's about it. And then the last thing is, let me put some regular boots on from this Grizzlor on his feet and see what that looks like. And then, of course, there's a quick look with the regular Grizzlor boots on that body, and took these weird Frankenstein boots off with the metal foot. You didn't like those. I took the Terror Claw hand, you know, claw off the arm. You didn't like that. Kept the crossbow in hand. Quick look at that setup with this figure. Now, the other thing, too, is I wonder if this armor will fit over the fur. I don't think it's gonna with this head, but let me try that next. So, obviously, I put the armor over the body, but it's just sitting there. It's an illusion. Don't let it fool you. Even the head can't go down on a peg. I had a feeling of that. Maybe if you modify it and really push it, but it's barely catching. It just sits there if you want it to just sit there. And the armor fits, but then you can't get the lower buckle on the back because of the fur. Again, unless you cut and modify it, maybe get around. I wouldn't do that. So it kind of fits, but it doesn't. That's what it looked like. Yeah, the head too. So it just doesn't really work. Just too much going on with the fur and that type of armor. So once again, moving back to the regular Origins Grizzlor body and just putting the head on. I put the boots on, those thigh protectors. We're kind of right back where we started. The first, you know, set of part swapping I did with the other Grizzlor, you know, this one, it kind of told the story. Aside, yeah, I'm just trying to see if the head matches everything, but yeah, it's just the dark arms. I already said the boots. I put the arm in the fur. The only thing missing was this lower piece, which again, if you want to get into customization, you can put it on his legs, because it's the same legs. But the more I play around with the stuff, the fur's falling off, just ruining my figure. That's about it. There's really nothing else to do. So we can take this head off now, because we know it doesn't match. I already went through this, I said. This head, too, isn't easy to get on and off. To get your hand under it. There we go. And then just put the regular Grizzlor head back on. Came with this figure. And, yeah, the only thing I'm gaining is just the, you know, the leg protectors and the extra boots. That's it. Okay, so one other thing I want to do as far as comparisons is show the Turtles of Grayskull Splinter against the sketch card art Grizzlor. Now, the reason why I'm doing this was a request from one of my viewers in the comments saying, when I get this pack with Grizzlor, can I make a comparison between these two? Because I think he wanted to try to use the Splinter head on the Grizzlor body, or it might have been vice versa. But the biggest thing is, do the colors match? How close are they? They're not even close. I mean, look at that. Way off. And Splinter has almost the same, well, yeah, the same. I think he has a Beastman body, but different arms, stuff like that. The leg, yeah, different legs. Obviously, you can pop the boots out and vice versa and all that stuff. But yeah, to that viewer, not even close to colors, not even going to work. So I'm not even going to try it. I don't think it's worth it. So once again, taking a look at the sketch art Hordak and having a little bonus fun. So here's a look at that Hordak on the vintage Mantisaur. This is another great piece to have. If you have it, it is on eBay. Sometimes you can find it complete. I really wish the Origins would make one. They teased it quite a few times, and they still haven't, of course. But yeah, this one still holds up. Articulation of the legs, at least the upper parts. These articulate. The blaster moves in the back. I mean, look at that head. The head does move back and forth. One's kind of stuck. Has little, you know, saddle, the pieces for the feet. Really awesome piece. All right, for the grand finale, before we finish the video up, I wanted to pull out the vintage Fright Zone to put our sketchbook figures on it, of course, and mix it around with all the other Origins figures that I usually keep on and around it. So yeah, here's the vintage Fright Zone. If you're not familiar, most of us are. The Origins still hasn't come out one, but I did hear rumors. I just read them online today that at German Toy Fair, there was one spotted. And you can't take pictures or photos there, but there's an unconfirmed report of a new Fright Zone for the Origins. And if that's the case, and it's true, well, we might see it at our toy fair, which is I guess the end of February. That will be awesome. All right, let's cross our fingers. But anyway, the vintage one still holds up. So I bought this on eBay. I had to do a bunch of repairs on it, a little bit customization, typical. So let me move the camera around. I'll take a better look at everything, have a little fun tour here real quick. So yeah, obviously I have the Sketchbook or Artist Grizzlor set up now as part of the collection. And I do have the regular Grizzlor, right? We have a regular Hordak, of course, Modulock, best figure of the year. And there's my custom Fright Zone puppet, or monster, excuse me, that replaced that puppet, fighting Battle Armor He-Man, going back to the vintage card art that was on that box. So this came from Etsy. You see them on eBay sometimes. They're 3D printed. Some of them painted, some are not. And there's different versions and models. That's the one I got. It's great. We got Leech, right? Of course, we have one of the silver vintage tone or inspired Horde Troopers. And then we got that red hoverbot that came in that Horde Trooper pack. They didn't have that in the vintage days, but I'm just leaving it up there. We have that new Mantenna, which is great. Yeah, the white Castle Grayskull Sorcerer. She's trapped in a dungeon. Now, that was one of the pieces that broke, and I had to glue it all back together and do some painting on it. And then going up to the top, there's our new Sketchbook Hordak, right? And there's a tree. That also was broken, all kinds of pieces. I epoxied it, painted it, reinforced it, you name it. It actually works now. So, all right, and yeah, that's my setup. Now, what's cool is these sketchbook figures, if you had a setup like this, they can take place, obviously, Grizzlor and Hordak, so you can take them out of the picture, or you can keep your Grizzlor and Hordak, and these can just be other villains that work for Grizzlor and Hordak. So that's the way I'm going to look at it. I mean, it's cool looking, but that don't have to be Hordak. It could just be one of his minions. And that doesn't have to be Grizzlor. It can be one of Grizzlor's minions or a member of his family or something like that. Pretty cool setup. But yeah, it's fun. See all these mixed around and what it could have been as kids in the 80s if these two figures didn't exist. I'm just going to leave them in the frame. But yet everything else all the other figures existed. Could you imagine we were kids and the origins looked like this with the articulation, stuff like that? That would have been great. But anyway, yeah, that's the setup on the Fright Zone vintage one, and it's fun. Really looks cool. Okay, so that about sums it up, and that's my review on the new Masters Universe Origins Sketchbook Series Hordak and Grizzlor figures, or 2-pack. I think they're pretty cool. I'm all for seeing newer figures, especially something in the old-style concept art that we never got as figures as kids, and now we are. But as far as replacing my Grizzlor and Hordak, yeah, no go. I like this Grizzlor the best, and I like this Hordak the best. But they are interesting. Definitely going to keep them set up as part of my collection. It's just some kind of other evil Horde members. This head's really wacky looking. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. And there's only so much you can do with part swapping, like I showed between this Grizzlor and him, or never mind the other Grizzlor. It ain't going to work with the colors. But if you wanted to get involved, you can definitely pull fur off him, the body, or swap that body around like I showed, or lower parts. And you can put fur on this Grizzlor with those colors in that head. That's what you want to do. It's fun again to see the terror claws in a different color. I didn't need them, but they do give it to them. And boots they're also interesting. I think I like the other regular Horde boots better. And same thing with this Hordak. Kind of creepy looking. It's his own thing, but to me, I don't know. That's not Hordak. This is Hordak. But if you take this head like I showed and put it on this Hordak, it makes the Hordak I want, as funny as that is. Or you can take this arm and put it on this Hordak because of great colors. So there are possibilities to have fun mixing and matching parts between the figures, or just leave them as is. I don't know. Aside that, it's cool, and I can't wait to see more. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, take care.